Women podcast. For your career and your life, no matter what business you're in.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Northern Power Women podcast. I'm Sam Walker, she is Simone Roche. We are here with you every single week to talk life, career, lockdown, jigsaws and beyond. There's all life here, Simone, but we're gearing up. Do you know what? I can't believe we are now less than a month away until the big Northern Power Women celebration, which is kind of nearly a year on, of course, from when the awards were meant to be last year when the world changed.
Can't believe it, can you? But you know what, Sam? Everything comes to she, he, they who wait. Is what I think, you know. So we are having the mother, the sister of all celebrations on the 8th. We've got NPWLive in the daytime, which is really exciting. And then we've got our awards in the evening. Thank you for all of those who are supporting, sending your details to us. And we are now getting all these lovely special boxes made by small business owners that will be winging their way to those people who have requested those. And if not, we'll be making a contribution to charities that are in our shortlist. So I feel like it's a really good thing. It's either small businesses or small charities that have been impacted. And the other thing, you just kind of feel good about stuff. And maybe it's because it's sunny outside. And, we talked last week, didn't we, about spring is springing. We're shouting out and we're receiving a brilliant amount of videos for our NPWLive. We're asking people for 3-minute TED-style. Could be a conversation. It could be a piece of performance. Sandy Lindsay has been writing poetry.
Wow.
So I've challenged her. Yeah. Follow her on Twitter, Sandy Lindsay, MBE. Follow her poetry. She's really come over all Pamers. For those of you who are younger, Google Pamers. But yeah, she's been writing lockdown poems. So I've said to her, why don't you use your voice and it's great to read it, but let's have it be heard, so to speak. And that's the campaign we've been driving right since the end of the summer, since we invented it on this podcast, isn't it? Yeah. Be heard in the media, be heard around a table, be heard at events. This is why we've created these 3-minute videos, so we can create this mammoth library. So whether or not you're talking about an experience, whether you're talking about your career story, Alex Cousins has done a brilliant one. And she's like that, I don't want to be in front of the camera. So she's done one over some great images of her life. So whatever you feel comfortable in, come out your comfort zone. You've got a story. You've got something that needs to be shared. So please send us your videos. If they're too big, you'll need to send them to us by WeTransfer. It's free to connect@northernpowerwomen.com or go to the website northernpowerwomen.com and you will see all the information there about NPWLive and how you can get involved. But it's really uplifting. I think that's why I feel like I am, because these videos that are coming in, sort of really insightful stuff, really powerful stuff, and then it's the practical stuff as well. So really excited, because everything that we gather, we're going to be able to keep that conversation and keep sharing that knowledge. So come on, Northern Power Women, you've got lots to share. Be heard.
So listen, question. Brilliant that people are sending these in. Are they only going to be available to be seen on the day of the awards on March 8th? Where are people going to be able to see them? Because this sounds like exactly the sort of thing that when you're having that moment of going, the world, this is something you can click on and get 3 minutes of inspiration and a bit of energy.
Yeah, so what we're doing is when we've got them in, we're going to try and put them into sections, so it makes it easier to find. Absolutely not. Northern Power Women is not for Christmas, we're for life. The same as NPWLive. We are going to put them in our YouTube directory. And what we'll do, as I say, we'll put them under themes, whether or not here's insight, here's learning, here's inspiration, here's just a good piece of practical stuff. So we'll break it down into sections. So you'll be able to go to the Northern Power Women YouTube channel and be able to find, if you like, that little bit of uplift in your day. And equally, fabulous Gina, who's working with us at the moment as well, some of that content is going to naturally lend itself to a long read, so to speak. Yes. So we'll be putting some of that into sort of that more readable content as well. And who knows, we might even get some snippets on a podcast special too. We just don't know.
Happy days. Do you know what? It's so needed. And, you just talked about the fact that we're nearly a year into sort of the new world order, if you like. And we've talked so many times on this podcast about the Corona coaster. And it's interesting how you and we've seen each other go through so many different ups and downs during this time. And there seems to be a vibe at the moment where people are just going, I mean, just as we have news of a vaccine that a lot of our sort of older loved ones are already perhaps getting, or if someone's got any special health conditions, they're already getting, and we think, okay, well, there is some sort of light on the horizon, but it still seems so far away. And I read a really interesting study this week about working from home, because let's face it, working from home, shirking from home more like, ho, ho, ho. But it was always slightly looked down on, wasn't it? And I know there was a few people saying, oh, I'm nudge, nudge, working from home today. And there was always a little bit, however productive you knew you really were, that people thought, oh, you're just watching soaps and putting a wash on, aren't you? You know, and I think because now we've all pretty much, not all of us all the time, but so many of us have been working from home pretty much permanently for the last year. What this study has found is that, in fact, we are all working far more than we ever used to. Far, far more than we ever used to. More, 48 minutes a day, more work on average we're doing because we're working from home. That's 5 hours a week. You know, that's nearly an entire extra day we're giving to companies. And I thought about this in the week, and I've been quite overwhelmed this week with work. And one day I woke up at 5 a.m. You know, when your brain just switches on and you think, oh, thanks very much. And the brain switched on and I lay in bed for 10 minutes and I thought I might as well go and do the work because it's on my brain. I'm not going to get back to sleep. Now, if I'd had to get in a car and drive to an office or wait for a bus or a train, I would have chilled out and read a book or had a bath. But as it was, because my office was literally upstairs, because my bedroom's downstairs in this upside down house I live in, I just went up and started work at bloody 5:15 in the morning. And guess what? After I took the kids to school, or one of them, and did this and what they did, I was actually at my desk until 11:30 that night because I could. Because it was just then a walk downstairs and I was like, oh, I'll go back to bed now. And that's crazy. And I absolutely know that I'm not alone in doing that. And I'm wondering how we can all get together and learn how to draw the line between working from home and actually just living from home, because it's merging into one.
Yeah, I mean, today I decided, right, you know, I'm going to, it's beautiful. I mean, Beast for the East has been coming in and hitting the UK weather-wise, but actually beautiful blue skies, you know, the crisp days. Yeah. Obviously like the ones you get in Arizona every day. But I thought, right, I took Northern Power Man and I, you know, we work together, we live together, obviously. But actually there's been times where we just don't see each other because I get in and I'm, in his words, tippy-tapperson on my laptop till it's bedtime. Then it's up, yoga, rinse, repeat. And we're just not actually spending time together, even though we're on the same sofa, and that's poor. And I've always been, quite frankly, I'm out as a workaholic. You know, even before I ran Northern Power Women, I've always had that passion and that ethic to work and not stop.
It's when you can't stop that becomes the problem. I'm kind of forgetting how to switch off, if I'm honest. I get to post tea time. You know, the kids, perhaps I read one of them a story or we watch a bit of something on TV. They go to bed at sort of 8:30 and I think, well, what, I need to go back to work. What? No, I need to find something. I've forgotten how to relax, and it's a problem. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I think this is where the fresh air. I think on our team call last week, I said everyone needs to get out. You know, if the weather is kind, because it has been battered with rain. Now it's colder, but it's lovely. You can get wrapped up, get a coat on and a woolly hat, and you're laughing. But get out in the daytime. Get out. Because it's really important to get away. And Monday, I absolutely did that. And all of a sudden, one of the team messaged me and I went, I'm out on a walk. And they're like, oh my God, are you okay? kind of thing. And I did. And it was brilliant. And then I'm right. And I'm going to walk home early and I'm going to cook, you know, I love cooking, cook our dinner and whatever. And then I know I'm going to go back to work, but I know I've had some outside daylight time. And then, so that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back to what was, you know. So I think the only way to do it is to almost have a buddy for it. So, you know, I had a conversation with one of our Northern Power women last week and she was like, oh my goodness, the last time I ran, I checked my tracker, was Boxing Day. So I made a point over the weekend of messaging her, sent a good old gif of a pair of trainers going, crack on, get out. She's like, brilliant. No, I've already been out. I've been out yesterday. And it was a bit like, because I probably knew you were going to harass me if I didn't. But I think that's what we've got to do. Yeah. We've got to, you know, if we we're grown adults, aren't we? We're grown human beings running businesses, having positions within businesses, raising families, homeschooling, caring, all of that. And we're doing all of the above. But this is the same Northern Power Women mantra, is that we've got to check in on the checkers, and we can all send a WhatsApp or a text or something to kind of go, get outside, or whatever it is, or whatever it is that makes that person then.
I've done the same here, actually. I've got a friend here, Jeannie, who works at a local university. She's an optician, and so she runs the trainings there. So she's at work early doors. She works till about 6, but then she does go home for the evening. But by then, I'm in the whole post-child routine, the craziness of the evening. But she and I now have started to make a date to go for a walk on a Saturday or a Sunday. And obviously, we're so lucky round here that, number one, the weather's amazing in February. And number two, you can walk out for miles and not see another soul. So we did like 6 miles last Sunday morning, just out into the desert with the dogs. And we've got a plan to do that again this week. And I think it's really important, like you said, to have someone that you can kind of hold accountable and they hold you accountable. And together it's friendship, but it's also getting out, changing the scenery and having a bit of exercise, which really does help. Because our mental health is so important.
Oh, totally. And I think this week's really interesting in an announcement by the government that they've named Dr. Alex George as a government mental health ambassador. Now, he's an A&E doctor and he's an ex-Love Islander. He's been appointed by the Prime Minister as youth mental health ambassador. And he's going to be shaping policy and advising on support for young people. And we know that, don't we, through our Northern Power Futures podcast. We know that through the conversations we're having with our friends about their kids, about their young people in their life. It's so massively important. I'm not a Love Island, Islander. It's not something I watch, but I think it's quite sensible, the fact that they are embracing the fact that Dr. Alex has got 1.7 million Instagram followers. So what a great way to get a message out about mental health. So I think it's that whole relatable role model. I say it's not necessarily somebody, Love Island was my guilty pleasure, and I would have admitted to it, jigsaws are my guilty pleasure. But I think there's absolutely something in, a different conversation. And the same this week, also the British Army are totally, again, a really traditional employer, and you've got Sir Patrick Sanders, General Sir Patrick Sanders, speaking out openly about mental health in a campaign they're running, which is called TimeToTalk. So I think this is positive action, isn't it? It's okay to talk, it's okay to say it out loud, and interestingly enough, we've got two sort of influential men in different ways openly talking about that.
Well, Dr. Alex, as you said, Love Island alumni, we know that there's some of the contestants of that programme, ex-contestants, have had real issues with their mental health. Some tragically lost their lives. And Dr. Alex, his own brother, lost his life. And he said he had no idea that his brother was struggling with any kind of mental health issue. And so for him to actually now step up, having walked in the shoes of someone who has lost a family member to mental health issues, and someone who's taken their own life, lost them to suicide. I think that's incredibly brave of him to stand up, because he has walked in those shoes. But also, as you said, he's a role model for those millennials and Gen Zers who we really hope are going to be able to speak up, perhaps in a way that previous generations haven't. But do you know what I feel is very important? Sorry for a minute. I just wanted to say what's really important. Talking is one thing. There needs to be the infrastructure there, because if we put our hands up and say, I'm struggling, I've got mental health issues, I'm living with anxiety or depression or whatever it might be, then what? There needs to be the infrastructure there to get help. Not say, we'll put you on a list and you might be able to speak to someone in 18 months because we're overwhelmed. That doesn't help. And sadly, that's the thing we hear time and time and time again. So how can we work together to make sure that not only people feel empowered to speak up, but can then get the help? Because you wouldn't leave someone with a broken leg for 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this whole sort of appointment came from the fact that he posted an Instagram picture last month, didn't he, with a piece of paper going, Boris, let's talk, mental health matters. Yes. So, and that nods to the whole be heard, isn't it? Use your voice, use your power, use your influence. Got to be heard. But now, like you say, Sam, I couldn't agree more. It's about having that infrastructure that goes with that, So let's see, let's watch this space. And even if it encourages more people to be open and speak out about this, killer,
yeah.
Then that's got to be, I've got to find the positive, haven't we, I suppose.
Let's get some fantastic positive vibes going on this podcast, because it is time for life lessons.
I love life lessons every week. I love them, and I love actually that we've got a new set of questions, haven't we, as well?
I know.
Which I absolutely love. So they are circulating their way out there to all of our award shortlist, actually. So this week we've got Becki Smith, and Becki is the commercial sales director at TalkTalk, and these are her life lessons.
My name is Becki Smith, and I am the commercial sales director at TalkTalk, based in Salford. What's the one piece of advice that has really stuck with you? Mine would be definitely trust your instincts. Tell me about a mistake and the lesson it taught you. Against my gut instinct, I chose a role because it was convenient in terms of family life. But although that's important, you do have to have a passion for what you do. I never really settled in, and I moved on relatively quickly. What advice would you pass on to someone starting their career today? It's really important, I think, that you make sure you do something that you enjoy and you believe in. Just looking at things like salary, progression up the career ladder, location, perks, it's not enough for you to be successful. If you enjoy it and you believe in it, then it isn't too hard to put the hard work in when you have a real belief and a passion for what you do. When have you faced imposter syndrome, and what did you do about it? I think imposter syndrome can really undermine your confidence if you let it. I get it when I feel underprepared for a situation, or if I'm in a situation with lots of people that I admire and respect. My technique to manage this is to mentally run through my strengths, why I'm here, and what I can bring to the table, and that really helps a lot. When have you taken a risk and what happened? I recently changed my career vertical. I've spent many years in fashion retail, and I decided to move to telco. So I moved to TalkTalk in January. I felt that I really needed to test myself, and I really needed a change. And at first it was quite scary. I was totally out of my comfort zone, but I've really grown in my confidence in my own capability since then, and I've grown my skills, and I am really, really happy that I made that move.
Thank you so much to Becki Smith. I really loved so much of what she said. Needing a passion is so important. I think when you start out on a career, you kind of think, oh, well, it doesn't really matter if I love it because it's just work. And then you realise, oh, hang on, it's kind of dominating my entire day. Passion's so important, and trusting your gut. And it's something you hear time and time and time again. It's so hard to do sometimes because your brain is saying, oh, no, take the job that is convenient for you, not the one you love. And your gut, though, just always follow it because it really never does let you down.
Oh, I'm a big fan of the gut. Absolutely. I love the fact, we talk about imposter syndrome a lot, don't you? But yeah. I love, how does she deal with it? She deals with it by telling herself why she's there, and what she can bring to the table, and running through her strengths, saying it out loud. It's that manifesting, isn't it? Yes. If I say it, I am it. So I love that. And I think we can all do that. Everyone, every level, whatever your journey, sometimes you just got to stop and go, you know what? I'm right to be here.
100%.
And
Happy days. We want to hear from you. As Simone said, we've got a whole bunch of new, fantastic questions, which I know you're going to have some brilliant responses to. So please get in touch. Just send us a quick email, podcast@northernpowerwomen.com, and say, hey, I'd love to do some life lessons. We'll sort all the rest out for you. It really is dead easy, and we would love to hear from you. Oh, listen, before we disappear off into the sunrise/sunset, Simone, I want to tell you, a little bit of Northern Power Women came into my bedroom at midnight one day this week.
Okay.
So I was watching. I've got a TV in my room. I know I always said I would never have a TV in my bedroom, and then after a while I got over myself and went, life's hard enough. I'm going to have a TV so at least I can lie down when I'm at my bloody desk till 11:30 at night. So I put on one of the late shows. The late shows is James Corden, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert is another one, really big in the States. So I put it on, and it was Stephen Colbert, very, very famous talk show host. And there he was, chatting about, a little bit of politics, a little bit of social commentary. What do I see next? The story of a little farm in the north of England who will supply goats to your Zoom meeting, and the fact that she's made $500,000 as they were talking about. If you're not aware of this, well, Simone, explain who she is, please.
Dot, we absolutely love Dot. Dot, she's actually part of our Lancashire peer-to-peer mentoring programme, and we've known Dot for a while, but Dot took ownership, sort of passed down through the family. Siblings didn't really want to take on the responsibility of the farm, but Dot stepped up. And Dot wanted to raise money originally for solar panels to be able to help with the farming. So she created originally yurts and hot tubs and different type of experiences. She started goat yoga a couple of years ago, and it's just absolutely crazy. Then, of course, lockdown hits, and all of that, sort of staycation market goes away, and the education market and stuff. So she started with goats on Zoom. And there is a video out there somewhere, which is to the music of Girls on Film, but it's goats on Zoom. And it's absolutely brilliant. And she charges £5 to have a goat in your meeting. It's Cogshaw Farm. You can find it. I saw it. She trended, I think. It was in the top 5 key news stories of the week globally, I think. But, this is all about, what is that innovation? The innovation that you see is amazing. And I think this peer group that she's part of, which is the fabulous Alex Cousins is running. What I see everyone helping each other, when they're talking, the craziness I think that is happening comes from these conversations with, what can I do with this? Or I need another Zoom operator for my goat. Who would even put a shout out for that? But it's absolutely wonderful. And I love the fact that this is a different way, isn't it, to sort of thrive and survive lockdown by getting your goats on, which I think was on Radio 4 last week as well. So, she's everywhere. So I love the fact that Northern Power goats have made it into your Arizona bedroom.
Absolutely. It's fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. You see, that's what happens when you network and you connect, and these are where ideas come from. It's terrific. There we go then. Thank you so much for listening. Another week of conversation. No jigsaws this week, but many goats, so that's a good thing. Do send us your life lessons, please. podcast@northernpowerwomen.com, and get to northernpowerwomen.com and send us your videos for our fantastic International Women's Day celebration. The next podcast is coming your way on Monday, February the 22nd. Until then, she's Simone Roche, I'm Sam Walker, and the Northern Power Women podcast is a What Goes On media production.